Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Again, the phone lines open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Good morning, Debo. Good morning, Carvey. Good morning, DJ.
Good morning.
Got everybody here. Well, not everybody. Craig couldn't make it today. It's first Friday, but got everybody. So,
You said it right.
yeah, we're all here.
Oh, Craig Stingley. Yeah.
So anyway, the phone lines open 414.
New purse, man?
That is a nice man bag, man.
It's not no man bag. It's a briefcase.
Oh, turn it around so,
You know what
so
I'm
we can
saying?
see.
So-
Oh, it's a briefcase.
No.
Okay.
Distinguished men know about this. So obviously,
Obviously,
he
I am not.
obviously, Debo don't.
I knew he was shooting back at me, Like a nice purse, man.
That's interesting because that's been one of my real fashion dilemmas. Do I get a man purse?
Never.
You never go get a man purse?
I don't know.
Really?
How did that even sound?
Well, it is what it is. It's a
A
man
man.
bag. They call it man bag, but
It's still a purse, man. No matter how you try to
I mean, what?
cuten it up or try to make it more
Purse.
manly. No.
I mean, but what's the purpose of a purse?
to
Right?
carry your stuff, man.
It's for women.
Keys
the purpose.
are doing a lot of damage to my pockets, man. So if I can get all this stuff out my pocket, that's the deal.
As a man, you fight through the pain.
Okay, I hear you. Now is that
You lose a lot of money that way, man, because all your coins go
coins,
falling
right?
out.
Stuff falling out
Well,
your
get
pocket?
some new pants.
No, how about just not tearing up the pants?
Get some new pants.
There's a thought.
Hey, after 15 years, them pants should be donated.
Man, anybody?
All
really
right.
Why are you
I
saying
don't-
his pants is 15 years
Yeah, that's
old?
what I'm getting. That,
You talking about all them holes in it? You shouldn't.
No, that's from the keys.
from the keys.
They stick a hole in the bottom of your
Hey,
pocket. Next
I
thing you know,
always have my keys in my pockets. I don't have no holes.
Yeah,
Ain't gonna be no yet.
but I guess after 15
Or-
years, you get a hole.
Or you probably your pants probably too tight, man.
Oh
You
my
gotta-
God,
you gotta-
pants are too tight.
you
Oh my God, we done went to 15-year-old pants.
I grew up in
Well,
the
let-
baggy era, man.
That's
so,
what I'm going
you
to
know
say.
what
So
I'm saying?
15 years ago, when the bag, I was talking to my buddy last night, and I was saying that, man, because in Detroit, man, those Negroes could put some buttons on some suits. I'm like, man, how you get 9 buttons?
Hey, when I was young, we used to wear our basketball shorts under our church clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's how baggy
that's just how it was. So
man, dude, it'd be some of those. I was just looking at some of those suits, man. I was just going like, wow. But I'm real conservative anyway. So, I usually stop at the 3 buttons if I'm gonna go 3, but now, obviously it's 2 button,
Yeah.
unless you're doing double breasted, which
Mhm.
seems to be making a little bit of
yeah, I was never a
inroad.
fan of a double breasted.
real. I used to like the like if you do like a nice blue double breasted blazer.
Mm-hmm.
It's-
I was, you know what was always popular, but I never was a real fan of it. The pinstripe. I was.
It has to be well done.
I wasn't a
It
fan.
has
I'm
to
not
be
a
well-
fan of a pinstripe.
It has to be well done. I think it's how subtle is it? What color do you do? I think you only do pinstripe and blue.
Right.
I know some people do black,
Mm-hmm.
and but no, pinstripe. It really depends on. And then pinstripe is more fall winter, certainly not summer.
Right.
So
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is definitely a winner. Thing.
yeah, I mean, you want to be able to. But again, I'm more conservative in how I dress, so I understand some other folks who can.
I mean, one thing people got a lot of things to say about you. One thing that they can't say is that you don't know how to dress.
So what are some of
They
the things
always
people might
they
say?
always comment on your shoe game, your socks.
What
you
might
know?
be some things that people say about me? Wow, that'd be curious.
I mean, you hear it every day here on the program. So
What? Oh man! But let me shout him out again. Let me shout out Ted Chisholm for being a good sport yesterday in his interview. He is running for treasurer. But my first question to him was, did he ever watch Alvin and the Chipmunks? And they, no, not really, because it's like, okay. I said, so name me the 3 chipmunks. He had Alvin. Can you name the three?
I'm probably older than dude.
Okay, can you name them?
Yeah.
Name them.
You for real?
As you think about it, go on, man.
No, I'm not thinking. I'm not thinking about it. That's a crazy question. It's Alvin, Simon, Theodore. If you know the song, they say it in the song.
Right. And so I said, so then at the end of the program, I asked him, famous people named Theodore or Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Teddy Pendergrass.
Teddy Pendergrass, Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
That's
the only Teddys I know.
Ted Turner.
Who?
Ted Turner on TBS.
Oh, yeah. Okay. TNT.
TNT.
Yeah.
Ted Koppel. That was a good one. He did pull up Ted Koppel.
I don't know who that is.
Ted Koppel, he started Nightline.
Mm.
No, he didn't start Nightline. He took over Nightline from Frank Reynolds.
Okay.
Ted Koppel. Not a lot of Teds. Well, I'm sure they are. But I just love when when Elvin and the original
Theodore,
cartoon. Theodore. I love it. It was like that Theodore.
Theo. From the Cosby.
From the Cosby.
But they didn't call him Teddy. They called him
Well, he's
Theo.
still Ted because Theodore is
But they called him Theo.
Theo, right.
Yeah. Other than that.
All right. Hey, let's do this as we get into the program. We can do it throughout the program. Boy, some of these things sometimes are so organic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a name, how many people share your name? Famous people that share your name?
I don't know. Nobody share my name.
Nobody share Devon? No.
On your driver's license or ID, it should tell you how many people got.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That last.
Is that
digit.
right? I didn't know that. Okay.
So it's two. It's two people with my full name. I mean, not it's me and then another individual
in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I know that there.
But it's probably pronounced Devin.
Okay, so if we say the spelling,
let's
see, Devin Hines.
No, his name Devin. His name not Devon.
Okay.
If your name Devin, then we don't got the same.
Okay. Well, would you take what's his name? Raheem Devon?
It's spelled completely different.
I know, but it's still pronounced the same way.
It's spelled different.
But
how are you changing your own criteria?
I'm not changing my criteria. if now that's the thing, because Black people have phonetic. Is that phonetic? What's the word? Phonics.
Phonetic.
Yeah. So it be pronounced a certain way, but you go, but that ain't how it's spelled.
But in English, you can make something sound like.
That's what I'm saying. So
something different, but the way that Raheem Devon, his last name, the way
I know it's spelled differently.
Like
Devon.
Right. You know what I mean? So,
but Vaughn,
but you can see that pronunciation in that name.
Okay.
Some of these silent names, silent letters, and all of that, and apostrophes. You like, where did you get that? How do you get that?
Oh, we creative,
right?
I mean, we really be creative, man. You be going like, how's it spelled and how's it pronounced? But yeah, so people who share. I would think like one of the common names would probably be John,
Mark, Luke.
I don't know about Luke.
James.
Yeah, Jimmy. Always when I want to bust nerd, I'll tell people, Jesus had a brother named Judas. That was a pretty common name. Like Jesus was a pretty common name during that time. So, okay, so you said not Raheem Devon. Let's see. Any other? No.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. I don't understand this, and this is not one of the subjects we were going to talk about today, but this kind of came up. How do you run for political office and you don't vote?
it could. That's not oxymoronic, but it's definitely ironic.
Is it a conflict?
It's ironic.
Yeah, because that's the issue right now. Kind of around the issue around school board director Daryl Jackson. There are allegations that the district he voted in is not the district that he represented, and he may or may not live in that district. There's another young man, Jared Anderson, who is challenging State Representative Ryan Clancy.
But he vote though. He just don't vote in his district.
Oh, then that's okay. But prior to that, he had not voted. 10 years prior to him being elected to the school board, he had not voted.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that if you live somewhere but you vote in another district, it necessarily isn't illegal if you're only voting in that spot. Like if that's your only vote,
It's illegal.
it's still illegal.
It's illegal for him because the same thing that got Aisha caught up was.
Well, yeah. No, I'm talking about just a normal person. Like let's just say if you used to live up the street and but your current address is where you live now, but you continuously vote here at the Atkinson Library.
Right.
And
I did that when I lived on the east side. I think I voted there before I changed my registration to 46th Street.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but obviously, as an elected official, you clearly got to vote within your district like that.
Right. So it's interesting to me where, people don't, I take great pride. I don't care what we voting for. If we voting for dog catcher, I'm out there voting because I just think that voting is a habit. It's habitual. It needs to be part of your DNA. It just be voting should be like getting your hair did.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
like cutting the grass.
Like cutting the grass. You gotta all those things that you almost reflectively would do. I think voting should be one of those things.
I mean, if you think that it's important enough.
Yep. So I'll kind of switch around. No, we don't have to go into order, do we?
No,
because I think this is a great segue. I had sent you this last one. So and I know you've already indicated that there was a shift based on the change at the top of the Democratic ticket.
Mm-hmm.
There has been.
I'm a little, I wouldn't say worried, but my eyebrow rose a little.
Why?
Because you holding a talking point or piece or function, and then you got Megan Thee Stallion twerking at the event.
First of all, this is Atlanta.
I'm saying if you held an after party, then I think that's more appropriate. But like during that, because one of my, like, growing up, one of the reasons why I always got in trouble with teachers and stuff is because when obviously I would make a questionable choice or a decision, they would speak to me, but they would speak to me in basketball terms, and like I'm retarded or something. I can walk and chew gum. You don't have to relate things back to basketball to me in order to get a point across. You can just speak to me normally, right? In this aspect, obviously, Black people is, considered hip hop fans, right?
Real talk.
So what you're speaking to us for is to gain more acceptance.
By whom?
To my Vice President Kamala Harris.
No. Who acceptance from whom?
In the public, to see, if you are the person for the job.
Put 10,000.
They
put 10,000 people in that arena.
Right, but I'm saying, but they're there to see you, obviously, and to hear about policies, things that interest the public in ways that will benefit them moving forward in order for you to earn their vote. And so you talking to us like how the teachers used to talk to me,
but political rallies,
bringing
political rallies is just that. It's a rally.
I-
You're trying to gin up emotion and enthusiasm. So let me
Right.
ask this question then. So what's the
It's a
difference
time and a
between
place.
what's the difference between that and Kid Rock performing at a Donald Trump rally?
It's the same thing. It's goofy.
No, that's what it is. That's the nature of that beast.
So in my view and in my lens, I think that for me, the only way you think that you could get through to me is by
No.
putting on this show
No.
in order for us to have some sort of an understanding. That's how I view that.
Do you think, because
That's how I viewed that.
I think it going national is secondary to, but do you think the vast majority, because when I was watching it, the vast majority of people, they were rocking with it in that arena because it's a rally. You're trying to get people's enthusiasm. I mean, you're not going to bring a Bach chamber orchestra to play. No, you're going to get whatever it is. I mean, that.
I'm saying that was basically like a mini little concert.
Yeah.
People have DJs at their rallies all the time. That's just
what we're
having music or whatever. But
you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna get you get your WNOV Courier Communications press pass. Next time they have a Harris rally here, we will go, and I'll let you see how it operates, because what people don't see. What I'm saying is that what people don't see is that, first of all, there's a whole lot of standing around, and you have to keep people interested.
So you have a DJ to play some music,
and you got a DJ.
But that was like all I'm saying is, if
you getting conservative,
what I am is I am one. She hasn't fully gained my vote. Like I'm definitely going to vote for her, and there are others like that. And so obviously the people that were rocking and that were in the building, they were for her. They wasn't for her. I mean, they were for her.
I tried to give you a chance to fix that up, man. I tried to let you fix that up.
Now you gotta take a smoke break.
No, he just moved. Wait a minute. He just moved off of his. He just moved off his square because
I said that
last week.
Who hasn't fully gained your vote? You said.
I said
she hasn't fully gained my vote yet.
But this is what I said. I said that I wasn't voting for Biden.
Right.
I would vote.
Okay.
Would and a is are two different things.
Got it. So but the probabilities have risen.
Right. And so
let me ask the question.
Wait,
then.
just let me finish real quick. So the people that were there and that were rocking, they're obviously for her.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for the people who are kind of on the fence, or they're leaning towards her, but not fully. Kind of like where I'm at.
So
we want to hear policy. We want to hear issues.
I get it. So
stuff.
Of the two, because you got two other options other than her. Not vote at all or vote for Trump.
That's a possibility. Well, Trump, no possibility for me. And I've already said that.
So then you would not vote at all, which is a vote for Trump subsequently.
It's not a vote for Trump. And we've had that discussion.
Yeah, in some ways it is. If you're Democratic leaning,
we're going to continue to disagree.
If you're Democratic leaning and you would normally vote Democrat and you don't show up to vote, that is then a vote for Republicans. That's why they suppress the vote.
I'm still voting.
Okay. So let me ask the question then to everybody.
And y'all just don't listen. But
I heard what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing or agreeing.
It's not maybe you old. You definitely old.
Well, maybe our pants are too tight.
Maybe you need a hearing aid.
Our pants are too tight. We can't think. Nah, let me open it up to everybody.
Y'all keys messing up y'all pockets.
So we asked the question, and I sent this to DJ only because I knew where we were prior to a week ago, and in some ways. DJ was representative of the ambivalence that some black men were feeling. That's real. That's not wrong. It's just real. And look, he's absolutely correct. You got to still win my vote. It's not just because you look a certain way, I'm going to run and vote for you. So I'm clear on that. So the question now, and you kind of answered that question a little bit, has the equation changed for black men when it comes to either voting, showing up to vote, or voting for the Democratic ticket? Or are we still, as they are alleging, having some men who are still moving towards Trump? I'd love to hear what y'all think. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Because when I was hearing, there would sound like there was going to be a whole lot of black men who were going to sit it out the couch. Has this moved or changed the equation? We'll be right back.
Milwaukee, it's back. It's time to play Let's Make a Deal. Be the 8th caller whenever you hear. For your chance to pick door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. You'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to Black Arts Fest MKE or a
Good morning.
Am
You're
I
on
the
there.
eighth caller?
I'm sorry.
Am I the eighth caller?
No, you're not. Yeah, you're the eighth caller,
Oh.
man.
Well, anyway,
Dude was like, I'm an eighth caller. No, you ain't the eighth caller, man. No, you caller number 17. No, you're the eighth caller. Welcome, man. You ready to play? Let's make a deal.
I sure am.
All right. DJ, let him know what he can win.
All right, you got a chance to win 2 tickets to the Black Arts Fest MKE Saturday, August 3rd. That is tomorrow. 4 tickets to Wisconsin State Fair. 2 tickets to the Harbor Fest Jazz Rhythm and Blues Festival Saturday, August 17th, featuring Jonathan Butler. Tickets to Wisconsin Dells Park. An overnight stay at the Red Roof Hotel anywhere in the country or nothing. Not a thing, not a thing, not a thing.
Not enough. No, we're just a little hot here in terms of the playground.
You outside?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Carl, you outside?
Take us off the speaker.
Oh, okay, there you go. There you go.
All right. Now, you got a chance between door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. Uno, dos, tres.
I'm going to door number 1.
What? You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right.
Congratulations. You are a winner. You are a winner of 2 tickets to the Harbor Park Jazz Rhythm and Blues Festival Saturday, August 17th, featuring Jonathan Butler. Congratulations. Who just made you a winner?
WNOV 860 106.5 on your FM dial.
Thank you.
Oh, man, you got 4 tickets now.
All right.
Trying to get a job.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. We're going to compensate him, man. You're going to get 4 tickets.
Job up in here. DJ, watch yourself, DJ.
Hey, I might have to.
Man, you got a polo coming. You're going to be part of the WNOV family, man.
It only took me 5 years to get a polo.
Right. Look at that. You walking in the door. Appreciate you, man. Hang on the line so Debo can get your information, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. So we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sucky now. Sucky.
Yeah, you was talking about our black men going to vote for the Donald rather than Kamala.
No, I didn't know.
Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I don't know if
Is it Kamala or Kamala?
Kamala.
It's Kamala.
Kamala.
All right.
And maybe we should do this, and then I can hold Donald Trump responsible for this. She is Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
She ain't Kamala. You know, I mean that I understand her sign, but they have been. You know, and this is a 35-foot view of this. The Republicans really don't have much to run on. There is now again. We had
I think they run actually on the same thing every time. Every time they
went
talk
right
about
to race and gender.
They talk about crime.
Right.
They talk about the injustices and race disparities, but for white people, not for the minorities. And they talking about obviously cutting taxes, and I mean they just talk about the same thing over and over again.
Well, I think that the fact that they've gone through, so they're very disparaging, and part of that is when the person is vice president and you purposely disrespect them by not even acknowledging that they're vice president.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there are people still referring to, because he has this honorific for the rest of his life as Donald Trump as President Trump. You know, they will call him president for the rest of his life because he was president. We say President Obama, we say President Clinton. But this level of disrespect, and this is why when I was saying statistically, there are more people who would tend to vote Democrat. If you look at Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden won the popular vote in 20 by 7 million. There are more people who would tend to vote Democrat. That's why you see voter suppression, voter ID, making it more difficult to vote, they're not doing it, and now they're kind of in a tough situation because they want to, you hear, and people do the talking points on both sides, but certainly same day paper ballot, same day paper ballot. So then you're saying then that, and then because you're so absolute, what you've just done is you've eliminated veterans who are overseas, infirm people, older people who can't get to the polls, but some of those older people might tend to vote Republican, and Donald Trump.
Also, they're eliminating, potential weather catastrophes,
right, or COVID. Yeah. Like a pandemic, which will impact on a number of people. Because I think in 2020, it was like 2.5 million people.
I remember
voted.
I remember
absentee.
I voted early in 2012. I was in college, and it was the weekend or the week of my birthday. It might have been the day of my birthday.
Okay.
I voted early, came back down here. Or up here, because I was down in Chicago, came up here to vote, and it was a nice day, right? It was a nice day. So if you can vote early and the weather is nice and comfortable, and look, Tuesdays, I think it should be a national holiday where we don't have to work. But some people have to work. They're not always able to use that lunch break. They're not.
So you can do absentee,
right?
And vote early.
Yeah, but I'm saying, to your point, they are trying to discourage those things.
And again, you suppress the people who tend to vote Democratic for, there's a lot of demographics there. Now that the Harris campaign is so flush with money, what was that? Where's she now? It was 317 million. They have on hand now. She raised 200 million just that week after she was announced.
Right.
So, and then what they had on hand. So, and Trump only raised 130 something million. Now I say only, that's still a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money. So
AP says and CNN says that she's at 310 million in July.
That's just what they raised in July.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she beat him.
Oh yeah, it's just amazing.
That's a lot of money.
And you got to remember, in July, he was coming off of the Republican National Convention, which is always an uptick in contributions.
I want to say that's actually more than President Biden had, because I thought he was at 250.
Yeah, but this is in a week.
No, I'm just saying, like, she even surpassed somebody that was already in the office and had been garnering those funds, for the past potentially 4 years or so.
And then the other piece of it was when they did the breakdown, I think the number was 80% were $200 or less, which means those people can give again. So, just being able their potential. So money might not be the issue. And I think you hit on it. Messaging is going to be the issue. Look, those people that solidly support Donald Trump are not going to move.
Right.
Jesus could run. They're not going to move.
Right.
So
they may be a little conflicted, though.
They might be, but they're still going to vote. They're still going to vote Trump. And then the amazing thing, and it was interesting when the white women did their rallies, they were talking about that white women in particular, vote Republican. The majority of white women vote Republican. And then we could be all, well, that's because they're man. A lot of those women believe Donald Trump. A lot of those people believe in Donald Trump. And that's the other piece of it, that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If people are strongly for someone, you're going to have people strongly against someone. I think the benefit that Vice President Harris has right now is that it's a sprint. It's not a marathon.
Right. It's definitely a sprint.
And so, but anyway, brothers, I'm just curious, has this moved the envelope for some of the brothers who were ambivalent, some of the brothers who was, you know, they're gonna make that move to Trump because they were just so dissatisfied with Biden. And I'm just wondering what you're thinking. I was watching a focus group. I think I mentioned a little bit, and the more and more I thought about, the more upset I got. I bet you, DJ, there was probably 2 or 3 Africans who would have volunteered to get on the boat.
Volunteered.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of us didn't want to get on the boat.
Right.
But trust me, there was probably somebody that wanted to get on the boat. What's the point that I'm making? That you will have people who, for whatever reasons, will align themselves with people or things that will ultimately lead to their destruction.
Is there a difference between wanting to get on the boat and wanting to be in the house?
That is a provocative question. No.
No difference.
Because getting on the boat got us here. Getting in the house is a work assignment. And Carvey, he laid it all out for me this morning. It makes a difference what your work assignment is, isn't it, Carvey? Oh man, Carvey was saying, what did he say? A year ago you was pushing carts in the snow? Pick and save. And I said, because I asked him, I said, do you really enjoy being here? He said, oh man, I enjoy being here. Get paid to do what I enjoy doing.
Right.
And I ain't pushing carts in the snow.
Right.
And pick and save. For $7 an hour. Get green button for me. Man. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Am I caller 8?
No, that's
man.
over.
You call it late.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. Hit next.
Morning, and girls.
Good morning. You're on there.
Good morning.
And it is sad. It is sad to think that y'all didn't think a lot of them cats ran to the boat.
Damn, they didn't even walk, huh? They ran.
They ran to the boat.
Dang.
I need to get out of here.
I definitely didn't think of that.
Hey, and it had to be he was trying to get away from her.
Oh man. She was doing them that bad?
Yeah.
That's been happening in a long time then.
Yeah, you know that.
We just saw Jonathan Majors running from his girl. Now you talking about they did that
How you gonna go? What's
back
with,
then?
what's with make it good? I mean, what's with that?
Well, you know, hey,
Man.
that and then now some of them, hey, and Tim Scott would have been one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he would have ran to the boat.
Pick me.
We sick, boss.
Yeah.
Pick me.
I'm gonna go all the way.
Pick me.
A boat trip? Oh, I'd
Yeah.
love to take a boat trip. Okay, what's gonna happen at the end of the trip? I don't care. I had a boat trip.
All right.
Yeah, we going on a boat
We
trip.
going on a boat trip, and I was just reacting to the brother that they were interviewing the CNN focus group who said, "If Mr. Trump come talk to us, we vote for him."
Yeah, he couldn't help it.
Come on, Rufus.
He still don't know slavery is over.
Right.
Man. Oh my God. And then I'm sitting up here thinking, like, so when sisters are down on us,
He thought Juneteenth Day was just a day for parades.
you know, Keith made a point. Some people don't think I listen throughout the week, but whenever I get a chance, I listen. Keith made a point during this week to say, people get on Michelle because she be wearing brothers out. Sometimes we deserve it. and when and to the point of what y'all talking about with dude talking about if Trump don't talk to us, we's a vote. Come on, man. Like that's a prime example of Michelle get him.
Wait a minute, DJ. And I can tell you, like, brother was talking about you running to the boat to get from her. So, so when Kamala Harris got the nod, she gonna be the person. Rhonda walked by, she said, "So what y'all gonna do now?"
What you gonna do is y'all.
Hey,
Talking about the brother. She said, "What y'all gonna do now?" I was like, "Oh man, we in a spot, right?" Go, man.
She gets a break. She's an educated gang member.
Okay.
Right.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. You're on there.
It's a long time.
What's happening, man?
The last 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Dog said they ran to the boat.
Man.
They ran to the boat.
As a perspective, I never even consumed.
That brother said ran to
Ran to the boat. Everybody else, they dragging them like, "Oh no, Mr. Trump gonna talk to me? Oh Lord, I get on the boat." Like, come on, man.
How you doing?
Man.
What's happening, man?
Stephen times 2.
Yeah.
Man.
But you know what? Now I'll throw this out here. Steve at least had a good job.
And you mentioned that. One of the reasons that prompted me to call is like Harvey, what'd you say, Carvey? He built up them skills to get off them carts.
Mm-hmm.
Or he found that, hey, I can use my skill somewhere else.
Yeah, man.
For real.
I know they're out there picking cotton, but is there a position open up in the house?
That's a campaign message.
No disrespect. I know everybody's saying that the field folks are supposed to be down for the revolution, but again, it's a job assignment, right? So I don't know anybody who would want a better job assignment. So anyway, no, I got it, but and I guess
I'm proud of you, brother, young brother, though, for recognizing that.
Man. Oh man,
and then putting them to work. You know, when the opportunity presented itself, you was ready.
Yeah, so, and something he can do in his sleep.
That's what it's all about. Real talk. But you know, you made a comment about white women. Supporting the Republican or the Republican Party. And I guess that seems to me to be based on their conservative values, which we have as well.
Okay.
I don't know if it's Trump per se, because Trump is an idiot, man. And I think anybody with any logical sense sees that, but they still want some of the things that party used to stand for. And they don't, from that Christian nationalist perspective, they don't want the homosexuality. They don't want the abortion. It is those issues that
equity
repel them.
They don't want equity.
And also, I think that, you know, one thing that fails to get acknowledged, you know, you said that Trump is an idiot, but he not the only one. And so, you know, birds of a feather flock together. And so, you know, it is people that do ascribe to his ideology and personality, not just those who typically would not, but are just going with the crowd. But there are people who are actually for that and on that.
Yeah, you know, and you think about him, I mean, it's not like those are his values. He just recognizes that these are people who are like sheep. They will follow for those very reasons. And he said
that in
them.
the 90s.
Yes. Yeah. You know, he can get them distracted with his hand motions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that 2020, and we're talking, you know, the George Floyd situation, it really was a moment that people have these really deeply held biases and beliefs, and they might not express it. I know sometimes when I'm doing polling that people will lie to posters, you know, because they're embarrassed that they feel a certain way.
But it's supposed to be anonymous, so I don't know how you gonna be lying.
What? No.
What's the point of lying?
Because people don't want to. What's the guy's name? Parris Sellers from CNN. He was talking about, he called Donald Trump a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that Axelrod pulled him off to the side and said, you don't want to use strong language like that. Because to call a white person a racist in their minds is like us being called a nigger, right? They have a strong visceral reaction to the R word, racism.
But if I call one person a racist, it don't mean that I'm calling everybody a racist. It means I'm calling them.
But even if you call that one person a racist, they because they are. It's hard not to be in America.
Mm-hmm.
They are. There are biases.
Mm-hmm.
But to acknowledge that would make them feel, I think somebody said make them feel guilty, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's still not going to stop them. That guilt is not enough to stop them for supporting Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes us look at our insecurity. So when you call them that word, and even if they don't have those same views and values, if they got a black or minority friend, they still have to question themselves as to why is it that the majority of my people are that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think the same when the reverse is the case. You talking about calling, black person a nigger. If you know that don't apply to you, it's like they said, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to.
Right.
But when you hear it, the derogatory negative piece always stands out first. And then you say, why is the ignorance still there? And why do I have this reaction to it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because it's being applied to me from its original intent, which is to demean me.
Right.
I heard, what's his name, Eddie Glaude Jr. earlier this morning talking about James Baldwin. And he was sharing with them, I guess they're celebrating his 100th birthday. So he was sharing with the panel on Morning Joe I'm going to say the depth of James Baldwin's writings.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that it makes us look at ourselves and who we are and why humanity is a macro of my micro. And that, in other words, the vileness of myself is a micro of the whole picture of the vastness of humanity and the depravity of us as a people. Because, and it made sense to me because you have to ask the question, what happens to humanity in these political circles, in all of these areas where, we can't seem to find our way to the humanity of a person. You just ask about George Floyd in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people saw that and it made them stop. And we have to really, I think we have to analyze what made us stop. It was the humanity that in us says something about that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't just look past it. I don't care how, prejudiced, racist you are. They still knew on that other side. Just like when they hang them coming out of church and cutting their groins off, they're like, man, you really have to be sick to think that that's acceptable.
Craig,
but
you got us on speaker?
You don't want to point to yourself and say, I'm sick. And I think the same thing happens when we have a 9/11 moment or a George Floyd moment, or even at the Olympics. They say we can all come together for these sports, but what about the rest of the time? The rest of the time we're different, and I'm not looking for any similarities to you. There's a sickness in us, and that's the piece that really needs to be settled. If I can hold that, because I really want to comment on this Devontae thing, and then I'll be out.
All right. You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the Reverend Dr. Andrew Ward. And I missed the point the other day when I called in regarding religion. Everybody's God does for them what your God does for you. So there should be no issue about which is the right religion. Other point I want to make is the word nigger. We put too much energy and attention on that word instead of the real thing. Like, I'm going to borrow from Reverend Dr. Crothers. Your actions speak so loud, I can't hear the words you say. If you believe, if you know who you are and believe, nothing, any words can't do anything with you. And as a teenager, I worked at Capital City Country Club in Atlanta, Georgia. And I wished I was white because those young white boys were driving up in new cars, and I thought I had to do was be white and I have a new car. So we did get that straight and believe in yourself and know yourself, and y'all have a good one.
That ain't true.
I don't know.
I thought that was true too. I didn't know.
I ain't never think that was. I ain't never even
If you
heard
white,
that.
you get a new car. I
No.
know that. Yeah, man.
I'm on my 4th new car, and last I checked, I'm black.
Okay, but before you got your new car,
You could pass for white though.
No, I can't pass for no white. You crazy? Dude talking about.
But I know.
Made me cuss
I know.
on here, man.
I know. No passes given. I know.
he been trying to get you off your square, man. You just,
Last couple, 3 weeks, man.
I know, but you look at the discipline, bro. Stay focused. There you go. Call him up to the program.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Parris.
Good morning.
Brother Christopher.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Assalamu alaikum to you, brothers.
Good morning.
Walaikum salam.
And assalamu alaikum to my brother David, who I just saw a little while ago this morning.
That's what DJ stand for, David.
No, he not talking about me.
Oh, I ain't know. Man.
I think he's talking
about?
I think he's talking about Brother David. Brother David Muhammad. Right.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. There is more than one brother David.
Yeah.
Although this is why I called. You were talking about the things with Donald Trump. I just want to say this. When I became abreast of the unreleased interview of Tupac Shakur talking about Donald Trump, and I'm like, I'm not in those circles. I don't know what Tupac Shakur knows or who he had access to. So therefore, from that perspective, what he spoke about concerning that man, my mind was always made up about Donald Trump, and knowing the history of his dealings in the state of New York, in New York City proper, and how he did and what he did when he put a gigantic ad out about 5 young black men and ruined their lives damn near. I'm not sure if there's probably 1 or 2 of them who are probably still breathing.
One of those brothers now is on the New York City Council.
Well, all praise is due to Allah.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody in New York City that I know of, especially in Harlem and in the boroughs, they not fans of Mr. Trump like that.
Mm-hmm.
He resides in, what is it called, Florida, Mar-a-Lago or something.
Yeah.
He's down there. So, those people are all racist. And this is what ultimately I wanted to say.
All of them.
You're talking about white people, and are they racist? You have to graduate and evolve beyond that. You have to understand the nature of things. People, persons, created things. In nature, there is a opponent for every created thing. And for our reality, our natural opponent has been a particular people who lack melanin. Now, if you get upset when I say the word racist, I don't think you'll be prepared for me to tell you about who I know you are. As the scripture says, you can tell a man by his works, and you can tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. If you are of a rotten fruit, that means at the root of your tree, it must not be any good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Drop the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is.
I think
Hmm.
I don't think you can compare racist to nigga. I don't think you can compare.
No. I don't. I'm not.
What? Because you said, you know, when you call one person a racist, you know, everybody else feels some type of way. But when a white person or anybody calls a black person the N-word, you know, even though they didn't say that to me, they say that to another person, it could invoke some.
No, I think I was taking
reaction.
how people are offended by it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But they made that word, the N-word, to describe us,
Right.
people that are racist. I mean, you could be Asian and racist. You know what I mean? You could be Mexican and racist. Like,
can you be black and racist? Because
definition wise, no.
Then Asians and Mexicans cannot be racist because
Asians certainly can.
No,
they definitely have structures and
I think
power to move and shake a lot of things.
Asians,
white people are not the only one.
White people are the predominant ones.
Predominant,
but
predominant and only are still
that.
Two different
but
words.
You might have some black people who could move some things. But what I'm saying is,
but structurally, Asians do have a foundation that they could be able to invoke some pressure on people or some disdain to, you know, move people away.
Then explain how America interned Japanese during World War II if they had power. Because they didn't have the same power as Italians and Germans, who were also at war with.
Right,
those folks who never interned.
But I'm talking about now.
Even now.
Yeah.
No, even now. You
I mean, majority of this video gaming and even car manufacturing, you know, it's everything just ain't GM. You know, like I think our cars are Japanese.
Yeah.
I mean, so like they have an economic structure to where
the countries
you
might
could be able.
But I'm saying in America, let's just talk about even in the world, racism drives the world economy. What do I mean by that?
Yeah.
It is racism that says that, in effect, because what racism basically says is that you're less than human. People talking about, well, they can go and do a picnic and lynch somebody. They didn't see those people as fully human. So I'm not killing another person. I'm killing a less than human person. That's my attitude. Mm-hmm. That's part of that's what's packed into racism. Less than human. Therefore, I can treat you a certain way. But then let us not lose sight of the economic benefit of racism, right? That's why it was created. It was an economic benefit. You could differentiate human beings and you separate them by how they look, and then you have dominance over them and you have dominance over their indigenous land. It's pretty simple, but that's just how it works. And you're right, we get into our feelings about it, but it is racist policies that impact Asians. Right now, you have some honorary whites. They try to confer honorary whiteness maybe on certain Chinese folks, and it's typically Chinese people who come from Taiwan, mm-hmm. right? I mean, it's not. And then there's the other thing: the universe of Asian is expanding because of the large Indian population that's now in America.
You're going down a rabbit hole.
No,
All I'm saying
I'm
is
just saying that
you can't
even Indians,
you can't compare calling a specific individual racist to the N-word, or somebody calling
I
a
wasn't
black
saying
person
that.
an N-word.
When you're saying that, to say that, you're right. There's some connotations that go along with when you use the word nigga, because nigga then refers to at least 30 million people here, but it also then applies to the descendants of Africans in the Caribbean, the descendants of Africans that are in Europe.
And that's just what it originated from.
Right.
Now, the definition of a racist speaks to a person specifically acting in a way to discriminate and use an extreme amount of prejudice towards another person
and exert power.
Right, that too.
And
and
power to exploit.
That went within that.
But I think the exploitation piece always has to be highlighted, because I think we'll get it, and obviously our feelings are tied into.
To use racism is exploitation.
Sure, and so things that I give you another one that Europeans are uncomfortable with. This whole thing called white privilege, what Dr. Ward was alluding to, the idea that he thought that if you were a young white male, they all got new cars. That's what he saw.
And I always.
But the reality is he's in a better position to get a new car because he is a young white male.
And the thing with white privilege, there will be, and there are white people that say, I don't have any privilege. I work hard. I'm struggling to pay my bills the same as you. What privilege is it in that? But there comes a point where you have to look outside of you and see that, well, when the next individual who is in a similar or same situation are less well off than you are, some people will say tough luck. And the holistic view of things is white privilege. And the what we would always explain is that, you shouldn't feel bad or sorry about having white privilege. It's just you should acknowledge that, yeah, you do have that. It's no different than we used to say this all the time, on the campus of UWM, where people say that, oh, people are getting robbed and women are being beaten and some unfortunately kidnapped and this, that, and the third. So make sure that you walk in twos. Most dudes, us being a man and having the privilege of being a man, we that didn't bother us. That never crossed our mind. So it's not me feeling sorry that I'm a man. It's just me acknowledging that because I was born this way, that I don't worry about certain issues when it pertains to my own personal physical health. Now, could that happen to me? Yeah, but that's not something that I can walk down the street and there's no lights on, and I not feel like, oh man, something is going to happen.
Well,
I do not have to walk in twos.
Let me get back to Bakari Sellers when he, in effect, and Axelrod, because Axelrod took it like we would take it, right? He was going, well, I'm not a racist.
Mm-hmm. But nobody said you was.
We said Donald Trump was.
Right.
But your conception of racist, because that could hit home. And so then
do you have those type of thoughts?
Well, I think you also give white racist cover, right? And so what I'm saying, but it all conspires to exploit people who are not white. That's how it all lines up.
Right.
And so when the guys argue with me, I worked hard, my mama worked hard.
Yeah.
And my grandmama worked hard. And there were people who had the means to move in your neighborhood, but you blocked them from moving in your neighborhood because you wanted that neighborhood, based on perception, to stay white, right?
The ideal, to me, the ideal of property value, to me, that's racist.
Okay, it's driven by race. It's driven by a lot of things, but race could be one of those factors that drive property value, because if you have a policy of segregation and your segregation policies is not really separate but equal, where everybody's house looked the same, everybody's house is the same, that isn't the case. And so then you hear these things that they apply. I worked hard, you assuming I don't.
Right.
Don't make that assumption.
Right.
And
pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
And I didn't.
But then, you know, the people who say that, they didn't.
Of course they didn't have to.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
And everybody got to work hard. So this, I never forget this sister.
And that's the dichotomy and issues when it becomes me versus them, us versus them, because you begin to project certain ideas that realistically you yourself didn't even.
Right. There's a school. I'm trying to remember the name of the college. It's supposed to be this. It's interesting. Me and Dr. Shaw was saying this, and I don't think progressive is pejorative, is negative, but this was a very, very, very progressive school, right? I mean, white people, they were very open to bringing in different people. They had a racial incident on campus. The black students were amazed at how the white students aligned themselves with the white perpetrator. It was almost instinctual. It is this whole idea of the Klan. And I'll give you another example. Let's say you and me, Debo and Carby, go to an event, and there are a whole lot of white people there. What's the first thing we're gonna be looking for in the room?
Black folks.
Other black folks.
Or I'm gonna leave.
Whole group of black folks together, and there's 4 white people in the room. Who do you think they're looking for?
White person.
Another white person. That's how programmed we are, right? That we feel comfort with people that look like us, only to discover that even though what's the saying, that same skin don't mean that we can. And so even when we have these conversations, well, all black people, well, no, all black people are not the same. And so then does that mean that I make allowance?
But that comes
for the 8% of black people who might vote for Donald Trump.
That comes from a wider range perspective, a more mature range of perception and circumstances, and just living more and being more knowledgeable. And yes, that is why you make those conceptions for that 8%, because as you always say, we are not an anomaly.
Right. Should we worry about the 8% when 92%?
I mean, not an anomaly. That's the
monolith.
Monolith, right? We're not a monolith, right. And just as there is one person's whose favorite color is blue, there's another one whose favorite color is black.
So let me proffer this. Are we a monolith then when, as you said earlier, when you use the N-word, isn't that applying to not just DJ, but the other 30 million black people that are out there? It's not one of those isolated things where if you say it doesn't mean. I feel like it applies to all of us.
I've never met a black person who didn't feel disdain from that word. Now, whether it came from a black person or a white person, or Mexican, Puerto Rican, whoever, Asian, there was still disdain. There's black people that don't allow other black people to call them that.
I got that.
You know what I mean?
And
then obviously there's other there's black folks that don't appreciate an other race calling them that.
Well, I would think, and even then that whole argument that, again, white people were making was, Well, you used the word. Yeah, and there's some very negative words that Jewish people use to describe other Jewish people. I'm not allowed to use that word to describe Jewish people.
So here's a question. It's all tying back to what you was talking about earlier. Do white people call other white people racist?
That's an interesting question. Can I give a counter to that? I don't know if you all read or seen the movie To Kill a Mockingbird, right? I don't know if you've seen that. Okay, great.
No.
Great. Okay. The worst thing it seemed in the South that you could call a white person was a nigger lover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's how it's thrown at you. Now, it was just like when we were talking about homosexuality, and the dude said, "Well, man, you must be gay." I said, if I thought there was something wrong with being gay, I'd be offended, but I'm not offended. I'm not gay, but I'm not offended.
And I was confused
that you might call me gay, but I'm not. But I don't see, for you calling me that if I took it in a certain way, then that would mean that in my mind, I think that something is wrong with being gay. And I know that there are people out there who disagree with me, but I don't. But that doesn't make me gay just because I don't believe that being gay is wrong.
But
you know, so
but you're not. So then you
so
should.
It's
and in my mind, you should correct them because you're not. It's not a oh, you know, you feel that people that are gay is something wrong with that. It's just
it's like you call me a black Republican.
It's just like, no, that ain't, no, I'm not. So
I'm
you
not.
correct them.
Right. But what I'm saying is, but if I'm offended by it, my offense then is that I think that is, I accept that term is saying that there's something wrong with an entire group of people.
So you cannot correct somebody.
No, correct. I did. I told him I'm
not be offended.
No, you're right. But you can walk and chew gum. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that when people thought, "Oh man, I would have been upset." Why would I be upset? One, I'm not gay, and two, I don't see anything wrong with a person being gay. So, what?
That's just I don't know, because we had this. Either this was last week or a couple weeks ago. We had that same discussion, and then what's the DJ name? Doc B called in and was like explaining.
I think, you know, because one, the spaces that you move in. Two, I think exposure, and I think you said something earlier that's right on point. We should be evolving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I shouldn't end up. I had an incredible conversation with someone last night, and you know, we were talking about this whole thing of being able to find a church and what that meant, and we went through all the things of what it means to what church is, what it might mean to be. But I said, you know, my bottom line is always be, regardless of where you worship, regardless of who you worship, are you a better person because of it? Because that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, you affiliation is one thing, but you know, are you becoming the personification of those virtues that particular religion promotes? And I think, and he was telling me, because he's a Methodist, and I said, dude, I'm a Baptist. I can tell you the one thing about us being Baptists, we know the Bible.
Yeah.
Baptist people know the Bible. I mean, we drill from it from when you start off in Sunshine Band, you get Bible. So it's not knowledge.
It's so many verses and
yeah,
that are embedded in my.
Right. It's not knowledge because I've been programmed.
Right.
The question is application.
Yeah.
That's where the rubber hits the road. So when we kind of back up and go, well, anyway, let's get the caller hit. That's because caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning, you're on air.
You made my ears speak up. You hear me?
Mhm.
Yep.
So Baptists know the Bible better than Methodists. That's what you're saying?
Mm-mm. I don't say we know it
Okay.
better than anyone. I'm just saying that we know. I heard a great joke from this movie, and the guy, his dad was a Presbyterian minister, and he said that Methodists are Baptists that can read.
Dang, that's toe up.
Because I do agree with you that it should make you a better person through your life experience, because our experiences that all of us should be living or trying to implement is walking in Jesus' steps, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's complicated now because of Christian theology. Christian theology really complicates because there's so many hoops and things we have to go through in order to satisfy Christian theology. That's very different than the teachings of Jesus, what Christian theology is based on, but then it gets into a whole lot of other things. If I'm just saying, regardless of whether you're a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian or even a non, are you a better person? Because that's really the bottom line. How much better am I because I have affiliated myself with this particular faith movement or this particular religious movement? And I don't think we've heard that. I think we kind of make sure you know all the catechism. Catechism is that instruction. Primarily heard DJ talk about that there are scriptures that was pounded into him. We took a little different approach at when we did youth ministry at our church, because I knew you knew the scriptures. My thing is, how do we apply those scriptures to your life?
So let me ask you a question. So when you name the other religions, a lot of them don't believe in Jesus, correct? So what I just said, we should walk like Jesus walk, right?
Well, what's
the bottom line should be in all of them, basically should be love, right?
I think they all have that bottom line.
Love, right?
Yeah. Love, respect of others.
Right.
You know, education.
And that's what we should be implementing, but we fall so short on that. That's all of us. And I try so hard, and sometimes I even have to catch myself, about how I talk to people and how I approach people. I have to really, really try hard not to, every day when I say, okay, not let me offend somebody. Whatever comes out my mouth, let me edify somebody and not tear somebody down. And sometimes that's very hard to do,
right?
When people don't respect you. And you had asked a question earlier, and then I'm going to get off. You had asked a question earlier about black men support Vice President
Kamala.
I think for the first time in a while, I think I was like you. I think that President Joe Biden was going to win, but I was very, very, how do I want to say, concerned about it, and sometimes even leery, depending on how I felt the day that I woke up. I don't think that anymore. I think this is going to be I think that she's going to whoop his butt worse than what Biden did. I really believe that. I really believe I got the hope and stuff. When I think DJ said, or somebody said, I don't know if that was you, Kiefer, said that, but somebody said, called him an idiot. Was that you? Or was
No, I wouldn't offend idiots by calling
I think
him
that was
an
Craig.
idiot.
Oh, that was Craig. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I look at this dude and I watch on TV and I listen to what he says, what other conclusion can you come up with but that?
I mean, but you're coming from a person that is obviously thinking differently. But if you think the same as him, you would think that you were the idiot and not the people who think that. And that's what I was getting with Craig, is that he's not the only person to think that way.
But I agree with you, DJ. But how scary is that? I mean, you got common sense. So when you look at this dude, DJ, and you listen to the stuff that comes out of his mouth, what conclusion can you come up with?
Oh, he definitely a fool.
And so when you think like that now, and you're an intelligent young man, I listen to you. You're an intelligent young man. And so when you just said that people think like him, that's scary.
It's scary, but it's the way of the world.
that would listen to this guy and think that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is prejudiced. I don't care what nobody says. He's prejudiced. I would even go as far as to say he's a racist. And then Keith said, how many black men that follow him? And how many do we know for 2 or 3 for sure that call that radio station will tell you, I'm still voting for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
Well,
that another black man can say that when they see the file and the stuff, how he treats our black women and the stuff that he has to say about, and another black man can look at him and say, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's interesting, Craig. George, that's interesting because, oh man, and I'm really gonna go on a limb on this. This is
Chief, let it come out. I've been waiting so long. Chief, let it out.
No, because I'm going to say something that I think that some people are going to be offended by. Maybe, you know, as much as I thought Will Smith was wrong for running up, slapping Chris Rock, he did do it in a convoluted, kind of crazy way, say I'm protecting my woman's honor. I don't know if, based on what we heard so far from Donald Trump, and especially this whole thing about how Kamala Harris, when it was convenient for her, decided she was going to be black. She had been Indian prior to that. That first of all was a lie. But how offended were black men when they heard that?
I was offended.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
I'm a black man. I was offended.
Because there's some brothers out there who probably agree.
What place in the United States that she could go, or probably in this world, when they looked at her complexion and say she wasn't black?
Well, yeah, and they certainly go, if they don't say she wasn't black, they're gonna not say she was white.
But what is her parents though? If her
me.
parents not black, then she ain't black though. Is her parents black?
Yeah, her dad is
Father
Jamaican.
Okay,
that's black.
Yeah.
And let me say something else too. Depending on where her mama folks came from in India, they're black, very dark people, right? I mean, that's the whole caste system there is based on the darkest people at the bottom of the rung, the Dalits.
I think that when that discussion comes up, we just worried about the wrong stuff.
They could be just as black as us, blacker.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the blacker you are in that country, they all the same, but the blacker you are in that country, he said, the worse you get treated.
Right. And you know what? It ain't just India.
Right.
I mean,
Mexicans.
Yeah, there's Africa. The lighter you are.
You were just talking about Jamaica.
Mississippi. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get
Dominican Republic.
We are a strong people. I got back to Mississippi. It's hot as hell down there. I was just standing around. I'm like, how do I think about this stuff? We are strong. I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm about to start running on tramp. Thanks for letting me in.
All right, man. Appreciate you. All right. You're listening to Community Voice. When we get back, we'll be inside the Protege's perspective. We'll be right back.
Hey, mama, there go the CMOS, man!
The House of Vitality is located inside Sherman Phoenix Marketplace at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue.
Our store hours are Tuesday to Saturday, 11 to 7. So come on down, get your CMOS gels, your CMOS teas, elderberries, detoxes, natural soaps, and dry herbs. Now come holler at the CMOS man.
If you can't make it down to the House of Vitality, you can also call us at 414-949.
And now it's time for the Protege's perspective.
The world has a way of bringing about fears and causing men to shed tears. Through all of the trauma, you must navigate past the negativity and still produce, if not for your family, then for yourself. If not for the hate, then for the love. If not for the seen, then for the unseen. If not for discovering, then for living the dream. We all have hopes and dreams. For many of us, it started when we were young, and somewhere along discovering that dream, the more we got knocked down, the more that dream became a meaningless thing. Love is a beautiful thing, an expression that many of us were told could last forever. In the midst of the highs and lows of this sacred expression, the addiction to the euphoric aura that surrounds love blinds us to the notion that all things must come to an end. I often wondered, if love lasts forever, then why does relationships come to an end? In the end, you grow to appreciate that it is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. In most reasonable projections of oneself, as you get older, you get wiser, become more knowledgeable, and gain more discernment. Some would add that you should inherit a broader perspective on life and its ever-changing existence and interactions. The world has a way of bringing about fears and causing men to shed tears. Through much observation, I understand now. I understand why love can still be present although a relationship ends. I understand why a passion or goal so strong can ultimately end in that dream dying. I understand why a man so strong and prideful, determined to overcome all that is presented to be an obstacle, leans his head down and cry. When observing relationships and they end, when observing dreams and they die, and observing men when they cry, I may not know why, but I definitely understand.
Appreciate that, and thank you for that Shakespearean reference. Far better to love than. Yep.
I don't think that was Shakespeare.
I thought that was, but we'll pull it up and make sure. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. I watched the Greek national team this morning with Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
They barely beat Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They, in order to eliminate Australia, though, they had to beat them because I guess they do this point differential.
Alfred Lord
Tennyson.
Yep.
My bad. Thank you for that Alfred Lord Tennyson reference. Appreciate that.
Okay.
But so I saw Giannis this morning, and look, it was just Giannis and some other dudes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Australia
Nick
had
Kalatis, he played at Florida,
Yeah.
and he was one of the first college players to leave early to go play overseas.
Okay.
But he's older now. He's a little older now, and Australia has
Australia,
NBA,
all NBA players all up and down.
like France have NBA players. If you look at Canada, obviously NBA players.
And they're projecting Canada to be the second best team after the Americans this year.
Potentially,
Yeah, but I was just Dellavedova, Patty Mills, Exum, Giddy, what's the kid? Ladlin. They had a bunch of NBA players. Your boy Joe Ingles, he didn't play,
right?
But Joe Ingles. So
that ain't my whoa, that ain't my boy.
So we'll see. I think now, in order for Greece to get to the quarterfinals, they're gonna need some help. Some people are gonna have to lose by big margins in order for them to get in. But it was fascinating to watch him play this morning.
It's just good that Giannis seems to be healthy and that he is able to overcome the injury that obviously held him back from the playoffs this past season.
And Thanasis was there in the boot.
Right.
doing what he do.
I think he tore his Achilles.
Yeah, doing what he do. So he was, up moving. So I got a chance again to see them. I got a chance to see Simone Biles yesterday live. She is the GOAT. There is her floor routine. This thing, I think she ended up 15. You could see why. And she stepped out.
I think
she stepped out once.
I was thinking, maybe her being so short is an advantage. Because
her lower body.
her lower body. She could just jump so high.
Yeah.
Like, that in itself gets you some points.
If you ever look at gymnasts, particularly female gymnasts, the ones who are very successful are compact,
right?
But look at their legs,
right? Super thick.
Oh my God! What's
muscular?
What's the girl who was really big in '84? Mary Lou Retton. If you ever saw her thighs, you see that's where they have that explosive
and they need
power.
That because they jump from those legs. And they land on those legs, and
her elevation.
They got a balance
to do a triple. That means you getting up.
Right.
Her elevation is just amazing. So when you look and think about where she came from, 21, she had to step aside because what they call them, the yeps.
Yeah, and people who are unathletic don't even understand what that is.
Right. And she was just
you potentially. You have no depth perception,
right.
And you're high in the air. That could be fatal.
You could land wrong.
Yeah, that could be fatal.
Wrong. Yeah,
but people were giving her the blues because people don't understand that they don't understand.
I think the other piece of it is
right.
People don't know what they don't know, right? But the piece is anybody who's been an athlete understands a lot of it is really mental, right? I mean, you're gifted with your body, right? You train your body, but you also have to train your mind,
right?
And that becomes the most difficult part of competition is your mind.
But that's life. You gotta train. You gotta train your mind is the most. We would always tell the players that we coach, your body will do whatever you tell it to do. What you have to train is your mind to tell you that you're not tired because your body will keep moving.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's your mind that tells you I'm tired. And I'm sore.
And you know what's the inverse of that? When you're 45 and you at the family picnic. And the young dudes challenge you to go play ball.
And your mind is telling you, I
can do this.
And your
body going like,
no,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Right.
And then I was watching this thing, and I it'd be a fascinating study. It's a piece they did on veterans, and this guy was talking about how in order for him to get out of officer candidacy training school, he had to run this distance in a certain amount of time. He had did it 8 or 9 times, and he never could do the time, right? I mean, he could never get the minimum time he needed in order to graduate. He came up on the 10th time. This is the last time. I don't know. I'm using that number. The last time he if not, he's not going to graduate from officer candidacy school. Yeah. He said, when I got to the point where I would normally quit, my body is telling me it hurts. He said that I didn't realize I had this incredible will. And I went beyond the pain, right? Because my will was saying, I got to do this.
Right.
Now, of course, his body was able to cooperate. I'm just saying in other instances, but it is your mindset. And I like what you said when you said that it is a life metaphor. It is, so as a man thinketh, so is he.
Yeah.
Mind over matter. Matter being your body, your physical self. But there are times where I know I've had to go where it feels like now, and you see this with people who run the marathon. They said that you get to the point where after you start burning up all the carbs, now you're burning muscle, right? And to be able to get to, and there's a point in the Boston Marathon called the wall, there's this hill you hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, if you're going to make it, you got to get beyond the wall.
Speaking of marathons, my girlfriend just ran one last week.
Okay. The whole thing she did?
No, it was a 5K.
She did 5K.
It was a 5K. She fractured her toe. She was scheduled for the 10K, but she fractured her toe, so she went down to the 5K.
Okay.
She did really good. You brought up the Boston Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, shout out to her. She wants to run a marathon in each state. That's a goal of hers. So she wants to do the Boston Marathon.
She's done a half marathon.
Mm-hmm.
But let me, I always get on my wife. I said that, the only reason why she does sports is for the gear, right? And so last night, she decided she was going to do a bike ride. She's training for a triathlon next week. Yeah. Well, we're about a week out, 2 weeks out. And so she was going to do some bike training last night. Well, I know when I went to the store and I passed her because I'd go down and she's doing. And first of all, let me shout out how well she rides that bike. She got good form on the bike.
Yeah.
And so,
but this ain't her first rodeo.
I got it, but I'd never seen her ride the bike before. And so, she was good. And she's getting up the hill, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the store and I'm looking to the southwest and I'm seeing like dark clouds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so maybe she'll turn around and come back. I get home. Now it's lightning.
Right. Talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get home. Now I'm worried. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I call her. And as I'm calling her, that's when the monsoon hit.
Yeah.
I said,
I was in that monsoon.
I said, where are you? I'm gonna come get you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the rain, I'm talking, you could not see. Right. That's how bad that rain was coming down.
Mm-hmm.
But now get on her about her gear.
I was in Greenfield.
She had her helmet on, which has a blinker,
mm-hmm.
and her bike, which has a blinker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you, that's the only reason why I was able to find her.
Yeah,
I would have drove past her.
Yeah,
that's how bad the rain was.
Yeah.
So I complimented her. I said, "Well, see, I guess that investment in gear worked out,
right?
Because I kept saying I can't see it. I'm looking to my left, my right. I'm hoping nobody hit her. And then I see this blinking,
mm-hmm.
and I go, there she is. Okay,
she a pro. She know how to navigate.
Oh man, she has, and it's amazing because when you get older, if you ask LeBron James, he will tell you, getting up for training,
right?
The older you get, the harder
That's
that
the
gets.
harder it is.
Because your mind, whatever.
I used to be in that mode. So now I know what it requires to be in that mode, but now I have other responsibilities and expectations.
Right.
And so now it's just mustering up that same energy, but now it's almost even more energy that you got to muster up because of all of the other things.
But it's your mind.
Right.
And being able to tell you, one, to get up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you get there, now you're going, you got the adrenaline.
Yeah. Once the hardest part is starting.
It's getting there.
Yeah, right? The hardest part is starting.
Up. And I heard Allen Iverson, dude. What we talking about here? Practice?
Well, no, that was taken out of context.
No. But I know his point. His point was, you getting on me about this. I can sit out practice. It's like Michael Jordan. If you ever read Jordan Rules,
mm-hmm.
They said that one time they were traveling or someplace, and Jordan came with his pajamas on under his warm-ups. They said, we're not practicing today.
Right.
And they didn't. Because because your body needs to rest.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so let me and the point I'm trying,
and that's why when you're younger, you don't appreciate stretching. But when But when you get older, you gotta stretch. You will be a fool to think that even my age, I get out there and
look at what they do in the NBA. This is real interesting.
Right.
When they come out the game, now if you in high school and college, once the warm-ups come off, they stay off.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the pros. In the pros, you notice they're all wrapped up. Oh, man, they
keep them on, man.
Keep you
loose.
Because
keep them muscles warm.
Did you see the swimmers?
No.
You seen any of the swimming? Did you see the gymnasts? Did you notice they were wearing these big coats? And you're going like, dude, it got to be because they're keeping the body warm, keeping the body loose.
And we're just talking about just normal running up and down. explosion, burst of speed and agility, where you really need your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments all to be working in one accord, because any little thing you could pull something, snap something.
And that's the importance of form. If you go and you get a trainer is going to teach you how to do the resistance correctly. A lot of people who do resistance, which is weights, right? They do it wrong, and then they end up doing a whole lot of damage because you're doing it wrong. So your technique becomes important. Why do you remember? I don't know if y'all did suicides and then free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did the suicide.
In college, we did something worse than suicides. We did 6-2-6s.
Did you have to shoot free throws after that?
Yeah.
And why do you do that? Because you're teaching your mind good form when you're tired.
And you're also preparing your body to still be able to perform even when there's fatigue or exhaustion. Because
what happens when fatigue sets in? Habit takes over.
Right. And also in that fourth quarter, you're not going to be fresh. You're going to be fatigued. You're going to be a little sore. All this stuff. You're going to be a little frustrated. Right. All of those things that happen in the course of the game. So you want to translate that.
Bad habits.
Yep.
It's really going to be exonerated in a stressful situation. Yep. I was using talking about the interesting thing. I don't have to be biblical in this piece because we got a break. Real quickly, though, Jesus in the wilderness, the temptation didn't happen in the wilderness. Temptation came out the wilderness when he was physically exhausted. Mm-hmm. You're more susceptible to suggestion when you're physically, emotionally, and spiritually exhausted. All right, you're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the last break of the program. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. You know, I came up with a term, so I guess I'll bring the book in on Friday. Ginned up. I brought in the book on cliches, so I got to figure out where that one came from.
Chin up,
Gin up.
gin up.
Yeah,
I never heard of that.
Or, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it had anything to do with the cotton gin. It'd be interesting. That book was fascinating because all these terms that we use, and you go, where did that come from anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that'll be one that I need to add to my book of cliches. All right. Well,
a cliche too.
What's that?
Called booty do.
What booty do?
Her stomach stick out further than her booty do.
That's wow.
Yeah.
That is wow. Leave it to Debo.
Yeah. Booty do.
And he created too.
Yeah.
Creative too.
Got another one too.
Yeah. So, and again, if you're following the Olympics, the men play Puerto Rico tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Foregone conclusion that they're going to the quarterfinals. You know, I didn't they lose the first game in Tokyo and then ran the table? I think they
probably.
I think they lost the first game in Tokyo and then ran the table. And we're trying to figure out, because we didn't talk about it, why Jason Tatum didn't play. Was it South Sudan? He didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or Halliburton. He played the other night, so he did get a chance to play the other night.
I don't know.
He wasn't sick.
No,
he wasn't sick. It was a coach's decision. And now I know why Halliburton is sitting. Because even through in the exhibition, man, it was too many turnovers. It was just
I mean,
too
you
many
can't
turnovers.
play all of them anyway. But
he was doing.
But the fact that Tatum didn't play, I think he lost his name with me. I think he did.
Who, that Tatum?
Yeah, I think he lost his name with me.
I'm trying to figure out why the other light bright made the team from Boston and Jaylen Brown didn't.
But you know why?
Why?
Because Jaylen Brown.
Oh, white. Then.
Jaylen Brown has for whatever reason, people's perception on him, it has a little bit of a negative connotation on him. And he just doesn't garner the same respect that Tatum does. I don't think that Tatum is that much better than Jaylen Brown. I don't. I think that they are a 1A and 1B, and on any given day, one of them can be better than the other player. I don't think that he's better and then the other one is a clear second. I don't see that with them, because I do believe that Jaylen Brown's impact on defense.
He brings a certain athleticism too.
Mm-hmm.
Real quickly though, I don't know if you've been watching the women. Man, Breanna Stewart is a beast.
Duh.
Asia Wilson is a beast, man.
So when they bring up this garbage about Caitlin Clark, it's like Breanna Stewart was the first Caitlin Clark. Sabrina Ionescu was
on the team,
was the first Caitlin Clark. Like Diana Taurasi was the first Caitlin Clark.
But Taurasi, Gray, and there's one other on there.
I mean, Candace Parker.
Well, Candace Parker.
She did it all.
I heard a rumor that Cheryl Miller might be coaching the Indiana Fever. Did she get that job?
I didn't hear that. Full circle. In the Miller family.
In the Miller family, anyway. He's Jesus Shuttlesworth. Love Reggie Miller. Hey, let me thank everybody. DJ, thank you. Debo, thank you. Carvey, thank you. Callers, we thank you. The good Lord willing, Creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293CX 106.5 FM